Chains feel the surge. Rebel hearts on the
good
verge.
body kick again.
Through every word. Warrior's voice will be heard. Ooh. That's right.
I think I got it that time, pickers. Let's go. TWV episode 16, The Warriors Voice. We are here, man. And we got a new addition to the squad, man. Yeah. Don't look around, brother. This man has done it all, man. He's all over the place. Long time, lifetime martial artist. Has worked with some of the best, like George St. Pierre. I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm at this morning. George St. Pierre, my guy, GSP. He's also worked with former champion of karate combat, Ross Levine, coming up in the karate scene with him and a lot of the other karate greats and OGs. So it's a pleasure to add him to the Warriors Voice squad and have his voice be heard on this, because this is for the voice of Warriors. And what better than to bring an absolute warrior to come with us? So he'll be joining us for the show and shows coming on later down the line. So we just welcome you, Mallory Woods, and appreciate you being here and giving us your time, brother.
Hey, thank you for the great intro. Appreciate that. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to getting into stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to hopping into this conversation. We got a lot of good topics today, but also as usual, we got my boy over there in the corner, MMA Pickers. Actually, I think I want to throw you in the middle. I think you become the cream today. I'm always the Oreo. Now you become the Oreo. You're in the middle. Hot seat, man. Yeah, but my man MMA Pickers, one of the best pickers on the planet Earth, man. Last week was a little rough for us, but I say this. 3 out of 4 weeks, we've been doing really good. So that's great. Out of the month, you add the month up, 3 out of the 4 of the month you hit. Hey, that's a beautiful month. That's 75%. But he is here once again. How you feeling today, Pickers?
Pretty good, man. Excited. We got PFL and UFC coming up tomorrow, so I'll be glued to my couch for 10 hours as usual. And just looking forward to all that. Got a little training in this week. Busted my lips. I might have a little lisp at some point, so I apologize for that in advance, but I'm excited to get into all this news. We got a bunch of UFC announcements coming up.
Yeah, 100%. Well, listen, I might sound like I'm out of breath too, because due to this weather and me probably vaping too much, I'm probably going to sound like I'm out of breath. I actually threw the vape all the way over there. I'm done. Guys, I got to quit that shit. I got to get it over with, and I need to get back into the gym somewhere. So we're going to make that happen. But yes, I will have a little bit of shortness of breath today, but it's all good. We'll push through it. Like you said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we get into that, we got to pay tribute to those sponsors. And one of those is our great friends over at Karate Combat, which we love so dearly. And if you don't have the Karate Combat app, go ahead and download it right there, right now, because get ready, KC51 on December 19th, 2024 in Miami. Don't miss an explosive fight between Arturo Vergara and Owen Chelmia, plus a thrilling matchup between Cosmo Alexandre and Igor De Castaneda. And also, to top that off, the debut of Robelis Despain. So join us for an unforgettable night. Grab your tickets at karate.com/events. You can also get it to it through that QR code on the screen. And make sure you guys experience the excitement of karate like never before. Shout out our sponsors at Karate Combat. And let's jump into it. I think we got to start off straight off with it, man. I think we got to jump into the meat and potatoes of this thing. And I'm a happy freaking camper this week because Ian Gary has a 1 on his record. And that means my man Shavkat Ramonov has completed the mission that a lot of people have failed to do, and that is beat the monster of Ian Machado Gary, which I have, like I said, don't hate Ian as a actual person.
Right.
I just hate the persona. That's it. I haven't been a fan of it. Same thing like wrestling. Some people I like, some people I didn't. Love Rey Mysterio. Hated John Cena. I don't hate him as an actual person. Well, he actually follows me and I didn't follow him back. It's kind of a little inside joke for me. Yeah.
The power move.
Hey, man, listen, bro. Listen. We could get to that one day, but let's talk about Ian Machado Gary. Now, this dude's been running through the division. They pit him up against some tough opponents. He hasn't been able to get it done, and he had to go against Shavkat Ramonov. And in my opinion, was one of the most lackluster but entertaining fights I've seen all year. Right? It was points of the fight where I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, they're very passive aggressive. And then there was points where it was like extended grappling. And then there was points where it was like, what the fuck is going on? Shavkat's about to lose. And then he pulls through and wins on some insane shit. I want to hear you guys' opinion, and let's talk about like, do you think after this performance, Shavkat is ready for the title defense with Bilal? And also, do you feel like this affects Gary's career trajectory? Anyone can set it off.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, I'll go ahead and step in there. So I'm gonna be the flag boy for Ian on this one. So I'm gonna go, since we're polar opposites on this. I was actually pulling for Ian, right? Obviously, you had a fight where you have two undefeated fighters, and both of them relatively in their prime. When do you actually really get that? You talk about undefeated fighters, or we can talk about what about this guy when he was undefeated and versus this guy when he's undefeated 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But you have two excellent fighters up there. Now, if you ask my opinion, I think while Shavkat got the victory, he has a little luster, a little less shine because he did go to a decision. He's been the monster. He's been the boogeyman. He's been the Genghis Khan in that division. Like, man, I know people are avoiding him like you said something stupid on live and people just like, they got to just let you go. But Ian did go 5 rounds with him. Okay. Now he did try to submit him. I was looking at some tweets that Kenny Florian had put up there. He was saying that, yeah, he was way too high to try to pull that rear naked choke off. But the fact that he got him in that position, he threatened for a good time. I think Ian's stock does not necessarily fall, but it kind of stays the same with a lot of more respect because he's the guy to go in there and take him to 5 for the first time. To go ahead and continue to wrap this up in terms of opening for this fight, yes, I think he's ready for Bilal. Bilal will try to bully him, i.e. the name bully, of course. He's going to go in there and he's going to try to wrestle him the entire time. But you see the Shavkat is tricky on the ground. He's slippery. He got out of some dangerous spots. However, we know the Ian submission game is not the exact top notch. So I think that's a good fight to have in the future. And I think it's very interesting. I think it gives Shavkat 20 plus more minutes of tape. Bilal 23 minutes of tape to stay on Shavkat that he didn't have before. So I think that's a good match for 2025.
Yeah, 100% agree. MMA Pickers, how you feeling about this? I know you got some interesting takes on this.
Absolutely. So just an interesting stat that popped up. I think I heard this while I was watching the fight. This is between 2 ranked fighters who are undefeated. These are the most amount of wins they have between the 2 of them, or in a someone's gotta go match. So, between that and the fact that this was probably a title eliminator just because of the lack of other opponents for Bilal, this is one of the highest stakes contender matches in history, essentially. And I agree with Mallory. I think even though, and I'm an Ian Gary hater, so even as an Ian Gary hater, I'll say even though Ian Gary lost the fight, he took the monster, 18-0, 18 finishes to a decision. Not only did he survive the grappling exchanges, but he was actually on the offense at certain points in the fight. Threatening submissions, logging control time, back control. So very impressed with that. Did not expect that at the beginning of the fight. Definitely would not have been on my bingo card. And he probably took a couple of those rounds. So I think somehow both of their stock goes up because now Shavkat's a title contender. So obviously his stock has to rise. And you can't doubt Ian Gary. Ian Gary's the real deal. Ian Gary's one of the top guys in that division, and he's one good win outside of being a title contender. And I think a lot of questions were answered about Ian Gary, so I think his stock goes up too. A little bit of a lackluster performance, but still an extremely impressive performance from both fighters.
Yeah, and I agree. As much as I wanted to see Ian Gary lose just because he was the heel and all of this other stuff, right? He showcased cardio was insane, both of them, because I'm watching it. I rewatched both of them this morning, and I got the Pantoja fight up right here. I actually just finished it again. At the end of like the 4th round and them coming in the 5th round, they weren't really tired. Like nobody was heavy breathing. You didn't see any stomachs going crazy. You don't see anybody mouth breathing. They still had their mouthpieces pretty close, tight to their lips. So I think it showcased for both of them because we've seen Shavkat go in and finish guys like that, right? We've seen Ian go in and finish guys like that, or Ian go through these tough battles with people that they might not agree with it being at the top level of things. Ian definitely, to me, showed me championship material. It's just Shavkat was the better guy that night, right? It was some very interesting moments. I think it was that 4th round where he got him in the 5th round, the last round, right? He got him in a submission. And I mean, the rear naked choke, he was too high for that, but then he kind of like transferred it over to a face crank. And it was at one point in that picture that was all over the meme this whole week of him like looking up like this. Like that was a very scary moment for Shavkat fans right there, bro.
And
I say that.
Like...
And Yeah, and everyone's parlays. And that's where I want to get at with Shavkat is we've never seen him in that position before.
Right.
And he showcased that he had 1, patience, 2, he's tough as shit because I know that face crane hurt like a motherfucker, bro. That's like the same one that Islam hit what's the name with? I mean Hazmat hit
Bobby
Robert
Knuckles.
Whitaker with. Yeah. So very similar and very a lot of strength. If you see Gary, he's really cranking that. Like when I was looking, I was like, dude, you could see every muscle in his arm because he's putting everything he's got into this because also he knew he had to win. At that point, I think he was down like 3-1 on the fight card.
At least.
Yeah, at least, right? One of those rounds where you could have went either way with it. I think it was like the third round. I was like, it was like a takedown here, and it was like a few range shots here and there, but both of them were very passive aggressive when it came to the striking. I think Shavkat got the better exchanges when it comes to the striking. Ian Gary had the immense, like crazy, just great defense when it came to the takedowns. And all in all, it was still a good fight. Not the best that I would expect it, but also not two guys who are known for like going in and brawling and having these big strike offs. So I was entertained. So any other points on this before we move on?
So one thing I think that's an intangible to take it away from this. Now, I speak of this. I'm not a professional fighter. I've never, fought in any organizations or anything. But sometimes there's something you need to prove to yourself. So, for example, these two guys that stepped in the ring, there was 3 people in that ring. It's 2 fighters and the referee. Okay, these 2 guys have obviously prepared for each other, and there is this really intangible sense of invincibility of the invincible warrior that comes in there. Somebody that has an official 0 in terms of defeats in their name. So that brings a lot of weight to any fight, right? You're up there fighting everything, and in your mind, sometimes you're gonna be like, man, can I beat this guy? And both guys came in with that. They came in, they started that fight with the O. At the end of the night, someone's got to win. In this case, Gary. But Ian kind of in himself, like he's like, hey, I had to prove this to myself. I took on the monster. So I think that he takes that away from that. And actually looking at I did subscribe to his YouTube channel, him rewatching a fight and everything and reviewing himself. And he was pretty honest with the assessment and everything. And I think that's where he takes that good portion, like this is where I can build and go to my next step. Now, where that next step is, I'm not sure. Does he hang around and see fight someone low in the top 5 or whatever the case is? The same thing with Shavkat, because even though he looks like the invincible monster, somewhere in his mind it's like, man, maybe this Irish guy is going to get me, man. Maybe he's got something I've never seen before. And I'm pretty sure the thought was going up his head as he was looking up at the ceiling lights with this right here in this position. So you take those intangibles, and also the guy who's looking at it all is Bilal. He's like, all right, who's gonna pop out the stack to see me? So Bilal's got to take that. He's got to get his pinky toe, whatever. He got to get all that stitched up and everything, and he'll be good.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be tough because Bilal does the same thing that Shavkat was doing to Ian Gary, which was that kind of like that arm body lock, whatever you call it. I think it's Roman Greco kind of style wrestling or whatever that they use. But you see the Dagestani guys use it a lot. Marab uses it a lot. It's quite a few guys that use it, and it's honestly once you get in it, it's tough. So I want to see what it's gonna look like when Bilal and Shavkat get each other in it, and who's gonna come out on top on that exchange. I feel like Shavkat's quite bigger than Bilal as well. So interesting, man. But we also have more division kind of like at the top movement that happened in this last card with the heavyweight division and Cyril Gane taking on Alexander Volkov, which was an interesting fight and an interesting outcome. And honestly want to hear you guys' take on what happened here.
Well, first of all, the comparisons that this is Paddy Pimblett when he came in with his hair braided up were absolutely hilarious. So thank you, for that. But just seeing his face when that was announced, I felt bad for him, man. I felt really bad because I was like, yeah, he should have definitely won that. He evens it up. Should be 1-1 between them. And the judges, they toss it to Gane, and I. You think about it. Let's put it this way. You go to work. Your job, I don't care if your job is digging ditches, busting bricks, whatever, banker teller and everything, and you go to work for 8 hours, right? And at the end of the day, your boss says, hey, man, this is great. But you know what? We're only going to give you half your pay because we feel that we just feel that the teller down, right here did better. So we're only going to give you half your pay. How do you feel about that? You spent 8 weeks, 16 weeks in here preparing and you have a group of individuals who essentially decide that this guy wins when really the majority of everybody else thought that you won. I know you hear the
Yeah.
phrase never leave in the hands of the judges, but it's a heartbreak for him.
Yeah. Even if you look at the stats right here, it's kind of interesting for the outcome of what happened. Pickers, how you feel about this?
I'm curious. Can you see those stats round by round?
Yeah, I sure can. So here's round one. Did you want to see a
Lie.
specific round
Who would you score round 1 for off of that?
off of this?
Mhm.
Jeez, that's tough. So you got total strikes is in gone.
He had
Yeah,
some total time 2 in round 1, right?
two
'Cause I
sub attempts.
honestly had 1 and 2 for Gone, and when I looked through the round by round, it made sense to me. But
Yeah,
I know I'm
so
against the whole world on that.
two takedowns. You got 2 takedowns to 1 or Volkov, right? He lost on the total strikes. He got a submission attempt on him twice.
And he had a
He
bit of,
had
I think he had a
2 more
finish
significant
in
strikes.
round 1 and 2, didn't he?
I don't even. It doesn't say about ground time. That's the weird part. Maybe I'll check ESPN. ESPN might have it. Where are we at with it? What was the last fight? 310. Where's that at?
I
Okay.
personally had it 1 and 2 for Gone, 3 for Volkov.
Yeah. Well,
And when you look at overall stats like that, I think Gone won razor thin round 1 and 2, and Volkov dominantly won round 3. Not 10-8 dominantly, but pretty dominantly. And sometimes that can make the stats look a little bit lopsided, but we have round by round scoring, and that's just how our system works.
yeah. So for the control time, he had a. Oh, that's not wrong guy. Here we go. Bada bing. All right. So for control time, it was Volkov had more.
But how much of that was in the third round? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the question. I don't.
He finished the fourth on top of him, though. Third round.
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I thought I wasn't so mad at the decision. I had it 2-1 Gone, and I know the judges had it that way, but when I looked on Tapology, every single media outlet had it for Volkov, so maybe I'm just nuts. I don't know.
Nah, you're not nuts.
A little bit.
It's tough when it comes to this because, like, you look at these stats, they're very close in numbers. It's a lot that goes on. It's a lot that when it comes to judges and the opinionated parts of the fight, and it's tough. But honestly, with this type of win, right, with it not really being a solidifying win, with it not being like a real solid win for Gon, do we feel like he deserves a title shot, right?
Oh no.
Like, so where does this put the heavyweight division at, right? Because you got, on one hand, you got John Jones and Aspinall. That Aspinall wants to happen, Dana White wants to happen, all of these people want to happen, right? Except for John Jones, right? John Jones doesn't want this to happen. He doesn't want to fight another young up and comer and risk his belt, right? Or his health to somebody that like Aspinall, right?
But that's,
and then you got
the whole decision just depends on John Jones' next move.
Yeah. I think that is a major catalyst to what's going to happen. But say Jones does fight Aspinall, where do we go from there? Right? Say Jones fight Aspinall, Aspinall loses, where do we go?
Now you're stuck.
Jones next.
Yeah, because then who does he fight? Cyril Gane again? Alexander Volkov?
Listen, we just saw Khalil Roundtree get a title shot against Alex Pereira coming from number 8. Why can't we see Volkov get a title shot, especially if Dana himself thinks he won?
Yeah. I mean, what's the rankings at? Go ahead.
Here's a question. Here's a real quandary. Suppose Tom Aspinall says, you know what, this stuff with Jones is just taking too long. I'll jump in there with Cyril Gane. Let's say Cyril Gane beats him. So now Cyril Gane is what, the interim heavyweight champ again? So you have that interim bloke floating around and being defended more than the heavyweight belt. So I mean, how does that make Jones look? I mean, just looking, kind of devil's advocate from that point. But also, the only person that knows what's going to take to get a John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is John Jones. I think he said he wanted FU money. So, good. Let's open up Chat GPT and find out what FU money is. Let's exactly figure out what that figure is, and because I can't tell you what it is.
I think FU money would be probably more than Conor or Ronda or anybody else ever got.
Yeah. I don't know about more than Conor. I mean, Conor's made north of $50 million off a fight. I think if you gave Jones tens of millions, that would be double the triple what he's ever made off of a fight before.
What did he make off the last fight? I thought he made like
15.
15. I'm about to say, I thought he made like 20.
Give him 30. That's
Yeah, I mean, that's double what he made last time. I mean, that's fucking money.
that
I'm
ain't
not gonna
strong enough.
lie. I'm definitely like, fuck it. Somebody offer me 20 mil right now. Fuck
Why?
it. What you want me to do? You know what I mean? It's very small amount of things I'll do within my morality. You know what I'm saying? For 20 mil. So I'm at 30 mil. So I mean, I don't know if that'll tip John Bones' boat, right?
Right.
He's got a lot of money, he's got a lot of sponsorships, he's been around a long time, regardless of the
fair,
legal issues and all of the stuff.
He's lost quite a few. He's probably lost more
Yeah.
many sponsorships as he's gained.
Yeah, and he's lost some, but also there's sponsors out there that don't care, right? Because the sponsors that just don't care, and they need somebody to promote their brand, and they usually don't have people. So yeah, exactly. So it's tough, man. This division, I feel like crazy right now is, and we'll get to this when we get to the next, when we get to the part about Pantoja, but it's a lot of divisions right now that is like the future is shaky as shit. Heavyweight division, shaky. Then you got like some stacked ones like middleweight and all of those where it's like it's gonna be some stuff going on for a while. Welterweight, but where Pantoja's at, like if we needed that, let's get to that. You know what? Let's just get to it. Let's just get to it, man. Before we get to that, we want to pay a tribute to another one of our sponsors really quick. We have two sponsors of this show. One is Karate Combat, the world's first combat league based in crypto. And the other one is somebody that provides a lot of good. And if you look right here above my head, this QR code, you scan it, you can get to their website. A lot of good privacy and things. I use them personally all the time. Brave Browser is our other title sponsor of the show. And if you're tired of annoying ads, you got to switch to Brave Browser because Brave Browser blocks unwanted ads and trackers, giving you a faster, safer browser experience. Plus, you can earn rewards for viewing privacy-respecting ads. So take control of your online experience. Download Brave today at brave.com, baby. You can also use that QR code to get to it. Shout out Brave. They are helping us promote us, putting us out there, and we are partnering with them to bring a safer experience to your browsing, lifestyle. So shout out Brave Browser, but let's jump into it. The next one is, the thing I want to get into is Pantoja, and I just want to talk about, let's talk about the division, right? So Asakura was supposed to come in. Dana imported Asakura in. You got a double division champ, a double weight champ comes in, supposed to be the guy to take out Pantoja, and Pantoja does what he does best because that man knows how to win regardless, right? I've always said this. He may not be the most skilled man in the ring at the time, but he's always the smartest. He's always the most savviest. His fight IQ is insane, and it allows him to play chess with fighters that are sometimes a little more skilled than him in areas, right? And he proved that again. The sucky part about him proving that again is he has nobody else to fight. This division might honestly be the single person to have the most rematch title defenses ever because he has nobody to fight. Like Figgy wants to fight him again. He's got a bunch of people. He calls out Demetrius Edwards. Demetrius Edwards is not getting his black ass off of that seat. He's not doing it. He's making a lot of money on YouTube. He likes doing gi jiu-jitsu. Yeah, he's not coming back. He doesn't want to be injured. He doesn't want to be put in those positions where he's getting punched on anymore. He just wants to do the stuff he likes to do now. He's at that arc of his life, right? He's a big anime fan. I know he understands it. Right? He's at that arc. He's like, my arc right now is not fighting. It's over. You got to catch me on some more. He's at a more solace part of his mind, in his career where he's like, I want to do relaxed things, right? I want to sit down and interview other people that have IQ like mine when it comes to fight. I want to go and learn something that I haven't done before like that. I haven't put too much time and effort into. So him calling him out, that's a dead issue, right? And then he's beating everybody else. We don't, MMA pickers might know somebody, but I can't think off the top of my head some real good upcoming talent or a batch of upcoming talent that could basically come up in this division and do something, right? So, pickers, how do you feel?
I mean, I didn't hate the Figgy call out. Figgy's been having some good momentum lately. I know he lost his last fight to Jan, but I didn't think the scorecards told the full story there. And the last time they fought was back when, like, UFC 239, 240, something like that. And it was a 3-round fight. It was a lot earlier in both of their careers. We're talking about 5 years ago. I wouldn't mind seeing that rematch. I mean, if we're willing to bring in the rising champion, why not give Figgy, another shot? He's got big power in his hands. He's got the grappling to match Pantoja. Also a very smart game planner. Got a lot of experience at that weight class. I think that could be a really fun fight. And I think Figgy is also, due to his, recent escapades at bantamweight and his 4 matches with Brandon Moreno, he's definitely become something of a fan favorite. So I think that fight could do quite well in a number of ways.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like Figgy. We talked about the Jan situation, and that was either here nor there. But I mean, if you look at the remaining matchups in the division, I think that's probably one of the best ones we can make as far as fan service, even though, to be honest, this division is lacking in that. And it's seeming to be a kind of reoccurring thing, right? We've seen the same thing with DJ, and now it's the same thing with Pantoja, right? You got one good guy that's tearing everybody else up, and it makes the division not as entertaining as the other ones that are super stacked. Mallory, I would love to hear your insights on this.
Well, I think that one of the things, just to take a completely different view, is that you guys didn't see, and I hear my pups getting a little bit noisy downstairs. I might have to close the door, but we're live. We're gonna keep going. You didn't see Demetrius Johnson's most powerful strike ever until Saturday night, and you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? DJ had the best backhand to that offer that just came up with talks of $2 million of most of the time we're looking at back fists in point karate. This guy had the complete backhand. Bam! You come to me with $2 million to come off retirement, get my black ass off the couch? No, I am perfectly comfortable here. I'm good with playing some Xbox. I'm good with streaming, doing interviews, beating dudes that outweigh me 90 pounds or more in jiu-jitsu. He is living the life. He's got kids that are growing up. He's been dad, he absolutely loved it. So the fact that hats off to DJ to be able to say, not let it mull, not answer Sunday, not answer Monday, not answer like when somebody contacts him and says, hey, we got to set up this interview. But he backhanded the hell out of that really quick. And to be able to turn down $2 million or up to $2 million is a point that I would like to be personally at in my life. And I just have to find a path to get there. Now, how do you like this? To throw a little chaos in the division. I know we're going to talk about somebody else named Chaos later on, but to throw a little chaos in the division, what about Kai? We were throwing eighth rank opponents up for Khalil Roundtree and everything, but Kai Francis made a resurgence and he looked really good in his last match.
Yeah.
So for a fresh face and not a rematch, I'm pretty sure Pantoja will say no, he doesn't work. No, Pantoja probably already said yes. He probably, if you know that guy in school that would go in and fill answers in all the time before the testing began, he's already put in yes for the next 5 fights.
Yeah,
so,
I'm gonna tell you from experience of meeting Pantoja and asking him who he wanted to fight next, he will fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if they offer him Kai
anyone.
Yeah, like literally, I asked him, I was like, who do you want to fight next? Like, who? Just give me 3 names. He was like, it doesn't matter. Like they could bring a guy. He's like, they could bring a guy up that's ranked out of the rankings, and I'll fight him. He said, I don't care. He said basically, he's like, if they tell me I gotta fight somebody, I feel like they're trying to take the food off my plate, and I'm gonna take the food off their plate first. He said, it doesn't matter who they are.
Are there any established guys in the top 10 that Pantoja hasn't beaten?
We can go through it. Let's see. I'll pull it up right here.
I don't think so. I mean, he beat Kai France on Tough, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Just not in the UFC.
So it doesn't technically count towards the record, but still, that's in your head if you're Kai France.
Say, where the hell is Pantoja? Yeah, facts. So yeah, Kai France is 4th, and which I agree. His performance in Australia, the last one, was amazing in Perth. I honestly didn't have him winning that fight, and he surprised the shit out of me. So, yeah, man. I thought Tatsuo Taira was gonna be the one to do it first, man. That's honestly who I thought was gonna be the one to do it first, but he showed when he fought Brandon Moreno that he just wasn't there. And if you can't get through Moreno, then
I think
it's
it was
gonna be tough. Royval, yeah. Sorry, right, Brandon, wrong last name. I do this all the time. A guy is Royval's. I met a Brandon's. Like, sorry, like for real.
You know how you are with last names on this show,
dude.
Especially long European ones.
Jesus, bro, please, man, guys, let's get some shortcuts. I wish there was like nicknames for last names, bro. It would be much easier to do these. But yeah, in the top 10, I mean, I'm looking Usyk. He beat him up. Manuel Capes, not Tim Elliott. Like, dude, and I like go down. It's not even nothing. Charles Johnson, no. Kai. And it's crazy because Kai is now ranked 14th after that loss. One step above Joshua Van.
Maybe it's time for him to call out Merab.
You know what? Now that I like. But honestly, that's gonna be tough, bro. I don't know if his jiu-jitsu can match Merab's wrestling, bro. We watched Merab take Henry Cejudo, 2-time Olympic champ, and to the skies and walked him over to the owner of Facebook and posted him on the damn octagon like it was a picture after Thanksgiving. All right. So I don't know how that's gonna play out, bro. It like one, I would love it and hate it at the same time because I love Merab and I love Pantoja as well. But you know what? Now that you say that it might be. I mean, you cleared it out. Yeah. Clear it out.
Yeah.
Move up. Take him out. Take his belt. Let the rest of them fight for it.
Now,
you know what I mean?
One interjection about Merab. What's up with Merab getting into scraps with fans? Is he just the fans just universally hating on him and Aljo, or what's the deal, man?
So from what I heard, that was somebody from Umar's camp.
Yep.
It was somebody from Umar Nurmagomedov's camp. I forgot the guy's name. I was reading an article about it, but it wasn't an actual fan. But Merab is known to do shit like that because I was at CGI and his crazy ass. I'm like, what is Merab doing? And he's flying up the stands, chasing down, like going to go get a fan. And I'm like, Merab, sit your ass down. Like, what are you doing? Like, we're in the middle of I think Luke Rockhold or somebody was up or something around the time like it was. And it was like around the same time he did the dap up with Demetrius Evers. But, bro, like.
Rockhold Downey, I think.
Yeah, bro, that man Merab is insane. Yeah, so he's got to chill. But that one was Umar Nurmagomedov's camp. I think he said some slanderous things to him. I don't know exactly what they were. So you know, Merab is a hothead. Like that's one thing I like. If I could meet Merab, is like Merab, you got to learn how to like just take things a little less personal, right? Yeah. Like he takes everything to heart, and a lot of the times I feel like he gets misconstrued with fight buildup and actual personal feelings, right? And I think you got to kind of be able to tell the difference because there's a lot of fighters we see, they go at it, and then right after they shake each other's hands, they do the thing because it was for the buildup. It's for me to make an enemy out of you so I can go in and we can make the best fight happen, right? And I think Merab gets lost in translation there a lot of the times, and that leads to him doing insane things like this. But back to the topic, I absolutely love that fight. Damn, I wish. We need to make that happen. I think Pantoja might be at Karate Combat, seeing that is in Florida, and he does have. I'm pretty sure he might have a gym mate or two fighting on the card, so it'd be interesting because I'm pretty sure Marcus Perez and them they share the same gym as Pantoja.
That's American Top Team, right?
Yes, sir. And it's quite a few. We have quite a few Karate Combat guys from America Top Team. The one. South Florida and up in Orlando, I think, as well. So interesting. But yeah, man, very, very grim skies right now for quite a few divisions in the UFC. Hopefully Dana White and Hunter and the rest of the guys over there, which they've done a great job over the years of kind of like trying to revitalize divisions and bring it back to a good state. But hopefully we'll see it soon. I just don't know. But we do got another fight in another division that's absolutely stacked. And my man Mallory brought it up earlier. We're going to be talking about some chaos in here. First off, I want to get to the fight, but first thing, did you guys see him call out LeBron?
No.
Yes.
Hold on.
Classic Kobe.
Yes, man. I'll see if I can find a video, but go ahead, Pickers. I'll see if I can find a video really quick.
This whole press conference was insane. Calling out LeBron for Diddy activities, I think was his words.
Yeah, basically Diddy parties.
Yep. Calling out Ian Gary for the usual Ian Gary shenanigans. Calling out Buckley. He did his thing.
Tell me if you guys can hear this. This is shout out Full Send MMA. This is a video on their channel. I don't know if you guys can hear this.
You
Can you
got
hear it?
pretty graphic. Fair warning.
No audio, but ain't no party like a Diddy party. Okay.
I didn't even know LeBron left social media.
Yeah, he said he was taking a break.
Yeah. He took a break from that and the Lakers, which is a whole nother. It's a whole nother. So I don't even want to get on that shit.
That's not good for the Lakers.
Yeah. So basically, accusing him of being a part of the. We all know that LeBron, in some form or fashion, was at Diddy parties because he did say, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." That clip cannot be erased from history.
Right.
But we don't know how long he stayed. From according to the people, the longer you stay, the weirder it got. Right? We don't know how long he stayed.
The after party was the problem, from what I
Exactly. The regular parties were fine. It's if you stayed for the endeavors after, right? But this is interesting because Kobe Covington always finds a way to bring up the randomest shit during his fights. Like, and the thing that pisses me off is he does all of this build up, and then you end up getting a Leon Edwards versus Kobe Covington fight.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have a super exciting style. I think that's part of the reason he brings all this stuff up. Chael Sonnen's one of his mentors. That guy's basically a WWE character.
Yeah.
I only mean that in a positive way.
No, for sure. He's a personality. Yeah.
Right. Kobe.
He's a perfect fighter you want, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
The UFC would take 20 Chael Sonnens right now. 100%.
Sure,
100%.
Company man, great on the mic, great at promoting his fights, great at making both him and his opponent money. What's not to love? Kobe takes it a step farther. Kobe does not mind crossing lines. He doesn't care if he's the heel or if he's the favorite. He just wants you to tune in, and he's very good at that. And I think he does that by A, being a professional provocateur, and B, kind of like the same way people go viral on Twitter, jumping on trending topics. Obviously, the Diddy parties and LeBron James have nothing to do with Covington versus Buckley on Saturday night. But we're all sitting here talking about it, and it's trending on the internet. So I guess props to him for that. That's part of his game plan. Listen, he was on a 4-fight winning streak, and he was about to get cut. This is why the UFC keeps him around, because he's getting like this, not because he smotherfucks people. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you've been told that, hey, man, you're on this 4-fight winning streak, but just being honest with you, we're going to cut you after that. You're just not that interested. And you're sitting here like, what can I do to turn this around? And he comes out, and first of all, he says this in the middle of the ring and insults a nation that frequently chants, "You're gonna die," in the ring. And I'm thinking, like, man, I don't remember who this guy's name. I don't even know what the company. There's a bald guy that's usually there when things get hot. He pulls you up from the UFC, right? I don't know this guy's name, but he's always every. I bet you he's thinking like, oh my God, how am I going to get this guy yet out of the stadium, even more out of the country without them? They cut them into little pieces. Kobe is a guy that says, "Is that a hot stove right there? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just put my hand on it. Sure, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right on it." It gets eyeballs. It gets to use a Vince McMahon, it puts asses in seats. It gets you to people say, "Hey, you know what? I don't care if this guy's a wrestler or anything. He talks so much of a good game. I gotta see." Kobe is the guy that wants to fight somebody in the afternoon, after school, 3:30, right by the monkey bars at the playground, and talks all that talk up to lunchtime, gives his best performance at lunchtime about what he's gonna do to you, and then gets there after schools, trips over some bubble gum, and then the fight is over. Essentially, he hasn't delivered that much in the ring, but as far as selling the fights, Kobe's great. And the thing that's always so interesting out there is that there's a lot of rumors of like, man, Kobe's really a nice guy in person. He is. He's a guy that's selling the persona hard, and if he's doing it that well, wow! I mean, hats off.
Put him in acting.
Yeah, definitely put him in acting.
Maybe he needs to go to that, because I mean, I agree with you on a lot of those points, but also the point of, and I'm gonna tell you from my friend's perspective of buying tickets to 296, right? He said, "I would never buy a ticket that Kobe Covington, a card that Kobe Covington is on ever again." And my thing is, and I understand what the UFC is like, we might have to cut this guy even after 4 wins, because like you said, it's amazing buildup, but then you trip over the bubble gum and before you get in the ring and nothing happens, right? And it's not this exciting performance. And you got a bunch of guys that are super hungry that could put on something like that. And then you got a guy like this who's just a great entertainer and a mediocre guy in the ring, right? When it comes to like performance wise, like he's still a tough motherfucker. He's still one of the best on the planet because where he is, right? In the league he's in. I could never, probably none of us could even get close to where he's at, right? So at the end of the day, I fear the retention of the fans and the resale value of Kobe Covington, right? Because of all of these, right? This has been at least 4 or 5 where we're like, all right, man, like
this time
build up was good, but
this time,
come on, do something. He was but he was fucking shadow boxing when we were in Vegas.
I mean, those 2 Usman fights were pretty excellent, to be fair.
They were decent, yeah.
Those
But
were
also,
good.
too, tell me
Especially that
this.
first one.
Tell me this. Answer me this, Pickers. If you take Joaquin Buckley off of the main event and you pick just some regular Joe that's on the lineup, do you think this thing sells as much without Joaquin Buckley on it after he did what he did to Wonder Boy? You know what I'm saying? Our karate guy.
Heart goes out there.
Yeah.
I think Colby's still the main draw.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think Joaquin is the main draw, bro. I think Joaquin Buckley is, because think about it. Let me tell you something why I say that. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Because everything y'all said about Kobe Covington, you can say the exact same thing about Joaquin Buckley. The only other thing you can't say about Kobe Covington is that he comes in and knock motherfuckers out, submit motherfuckers, beat them up, throw them around the ring, put on a great performance every time, and has only lost what, once, maybe twice. You know what I'm saying?
Who, Buckley?
Yeah. How many times has Buckley?
He hasn't lost at welterweight yet, but he's lost
at
middleweight. He's been knocked out. He got knocked out by Chris Curtis. He got knocked out by Kevin Holland. He got wrestle fucked up there a few times. He has losses in the UFC, just not at welterweight yet. Welterweight's a great weight class for him. And speaking to as far as who's the main draw, I'm just looking this up now. But between Instagram and Twitter, Covington has almost 2 million social media followers, where Buckley has less than 500,000. Between the 2 platforms, actually, Buckley has 270,000. So I do really feel that Covington is an extremely established name. He's held an interim championship. The fight with Kamaru Usman was the stuff of legends. I mean, that was a nonstop boxing match, basically, for 5 rounds. Super exciting, bloody, tons of damage. He literally broke Covington's jaw at the end of the 5th round, and he tried to keep fighting. I mean, props to that guy. He had a bad fight. You know, he broke his foot in the 1st round. He says he had pulmonary altitude sickness, and if that's true, that would explain the really poor wrestling. If we get the Covington that fought Kamaru Usman, I think he's going to make short work. Not short work. He never makes short work of anyone, but I think he's going to make easy work of Joaquin Buckley. If we get the Covington that fought Leon Edwards, then
I think that's the one we get. I honestly, it's not a parlay or bet in the world. Let me see what these odds are.
Right.
All right, maybe there is a parlay in the world that might make me jump in. Maybe the odds are good enough to take a chance. But I love Joaquin Buckley at this. I love him at this weight. Like you said, he did take quite a few losses, and that's what I meant. Like once he's gotten here, he's done substantially well. All stellar performances. For the most part, I can't remember any fights. I'm trying to think like over the last fights that he's had where he's really been on the bad end of stuff, right? So I don't know, man. You probably are right with as far as like social media following and stuff like that. But also, I feel like Kobe Covington is like this, and Joaquin is like this, right?
I did not know those odds were until you showed me that he's the favorite in this, and by for the amount, I hadn't looked at it until now. One other thing, here you go. I'm a tie Joaquin Buckley to karate combat. So watch this. I had the opportunity during COVID to do some shows with Rob Black, which was great. And Joaquin actually came on one of those shows. And when he had just had that great dynamic knockout against Inga Sangai, where he held his leg, jumped at, boom, kicked in the face, and Buckley's star started to rise. He actually said his inspiration for that was watching Raymond Daniels for some of the kicks and everything he did, but I've never actually seen it the way Buckley did it in terms of a professional ring. It was great. It was the right kick at the right time. It got an incredible amount of pop, of course, with a viral clip and everything. But going back to the matter at hand at Saturday, can he handle someone that's going to constantly be on his hips and constantly be on his ankles, constantly take him down? If Colby Covington does have that 100% cardio warrior, I'm going to beat you to death with cardio, it could be tough for Buckley because those big strikes and everything, you need space. Kobe's not going to yield that space. He's going to be putting his shoulder to your shoulder the entire time and trying to grind you down on the mat. So it'll be an interesting tale of the tape to see if these are rising, like you said. Is Covington start falling and Joaquin Buckley's rising? This is really going to tell that. And let's just future cast for a bit. Suppose Buckley comes out. Let's just say he ends this fight in spectacular fashion. Maybe gets another dynamic knockout. All right.
Yeah.
Where do you go right now? We've already spoken that 170 is going to be a matchup between Bilal and Shavkat. But what do you do with Buckley at that point? Does he hang around the plate or does
Ian Gary.
I like that.
Ian Gary and Joaquin Buckley.
If Joaquin wins, Ian Gary and Buckley, and if Covington will stop ducking him, Covington Buckley if Covington wins. Covington Gary if Covington wins.
Yeah. You know what? Pit the heels against each other. I love it. Pit the heel on heel matchup. I'm for it. I don't care who loses in that one because I don't like either one of them. I'm just like, let's go.
It's like the opposite of watching Holloway get knocked out.
Exactly. Neither one. I'm not a fan. I'm not a super fan of any of them. I'm a fan of all fighters. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I got my favorites, and neither one of them are. So I don't care who loses in that. I mean, they could knock each other out, and I might just be extra happy. But we'll see, man. Like we said, it's a lot of turmoil, a lot of rough waters in these divisions. We got
to talk about these title fights coming up. Some big announcements.
Yeah.
Bro, let's go ahead. How about you go ahead and spearhead that? Let's talk about the announcements. I'll let you go ahead and take charge on this one.
Okay. So before I get into the ones for January, I actually wanted to ask you guys a question. What do you think about Strickland securing his title shot against Du Plessis? I know a lot of people thought with Khamzat's performance against Whitaker, he was going to leapfrog him. Curious to hear your thoughts.
So do I think that he should receive the next match for the belt?
So Strickland Du Plessis 2 got announced.
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought Khamzat were going to leapfrog Strickland because he so dominantly beat Robert Whitaker. And Strickland's last performance, he basically just, he beat Paulo dominantly, but by decision.
Yeah.
Do you think that Khamzat should have leapfrogged him, or are you happy with this matchup? And why?
I would say this. That's tough. That's tough because it's an interesting situation. It's an interesting position that we're in, right? Strickland's loss was, you know what I'm saying, iffy there. He thinks he won, right? But on the other hand, you got a guy who's been tearing up the division that hasn't, right? He's just been ripping through shit, right? And Sean has had a chance to win the title. Sean has had a chance to defend the title, right? And we've already seen him fight Du Plessis, right? And like you said, that face crank on Bobby Knuckles was insane, right? He rearranged that man's jaw from a submission. So it just shows the level of dominance on a former champion, on somebody who's been at the top of the division for a very, very long time and who has a high fight IQ, has fought some of the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners and wrestlers on the planet.
He has a good wrestling base.
And he has an amazing wrestling base and amazing striking. And Khamzat made it look so easy with him, right? So when you see stuff like that, we've never seen Strickland make it look that easy with anybody, right? Even a fight with Adesanya that he had for the belt, right? Yes, he was the dominant one, but I wouldn't say he made it look easy. There were still points in the fight where Adesanya was on him, right? It was still points in the fight where it was. Also, this is a guy who got knocked out by AP, and he has also lost to other people as well. So it's like that part where it's like, where do you really do? Now, as somebody who is watching it, and if I went off straight stats and who lost to who and who's having a better trajectory and who might bring out a bigger calling, I honestly probably would go with Khamzat. But I think, where's the fight at? Because this is that.
I think it's in the U.S., but let me double check.
That's why. And that's why you get Sean Strickland versus Du Plessis, is because Du Plessis has a strong following in the U.S. and so does Sean Strickland, right? So I understand from Dana and Hunter's point of view of, we want to make this fight something that's going to be, if we don't have the time, because also too, when is that fight supposed to happen?
Oh no, this is Australia.
Yeah, this is in
Australia, but what month is it?
February.
Exactly. Right before Ramadan, right? So it's either like, they're either going to fight or I don't even know when Ramadan lands this year. I think it's in March, but around that time, they usually don't fight. They're usually not trained. They're usually getting ready to just relax for Ramadan. So I see that, and it not being in the U.S. might be two reasons of why. Being in the U.S. might be the reasons why. Because if you want Hamzat fight Duplessis, you want Hamzat to fight Duplessis in somewhere like Dubai. You want a Yas Island. You want to do somewhere like Africa, maybe for the first time, right? Actually give him a spot, because if you do Africa with Hamzat and Duplessis, well, you get the whole South Africa coming from Duplessis and the rest of African fans that like him. And then also you got all of the guys right there in Dubai, the Middle East, all of that, and they're going to come down and support Hamzat, right? So I think that might be reason why, because like I said, if you look at it a stat standpoint and what's happened, it does make sense for Chimaev to get the shot.
Right.
It makes more sense all around the board, but Sean Strickland is also somebody who, like Kobe Covington, minus the fact that he actually goes in and punches people, right? He is somebody who sells fights. He is somebody that has an immense buildup. Whenever Sean Strickland's fighting, he is all over the tabloids. He's all over everything. He's all over every news outlet, MMA outlet. Everybody's talking about him.
Right.
He's gonna say some outlandish stuff.
He's gonna say anything,
and he's gonna sell the fight. So I think that's what it is, man. You want to sell the fight. It's in the U.S. What better to do it with the heel of the U.S., right? One of the top ones, right? That took on the heel role willingly and doesn't care. He's just himself and he wants to do what he wants to do. I met him quite a few times. My homie trains at Extreme Couture, right? And he's a chill dude and all, right? But he know how to sell a fight. So I think that's why we get it. But honestly, I don't see Strickland beat Duplessis again. I think that other one was close, but I think from there to now, Duplessis, like, one, his momentum is there, his motivation is there, and I just feel like after he's already seen Sean Strickland is not somebody that I've seen like really elevate. His game kind of has stayed kind of the same over the last few fights. I don't really see, like, when you had like Izzy where he would like all of these different styles and incorporate all stuff. I just don't really see that with him. And I feel like Duplessis is such of a strategist, and the guys that he work with, that is going to be like easy work again for him, right? Like, he's going to go in there and do what he does. So that's my take on it.
Let me jump in. First, to give you facts, Ramadan 2025 is from February 28th to March 29th. So excellent pickup on that. I had not even considered it. Pickers, to go with your question, should he have left wrong? Excuse me. I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to say yes. I think that he should have. Right now, Apollo, you gave some great points I didn't even think about until this, and taking that into effect. But would I like to see Hamzat against DP? Yes. If you're very curious about what exactly happened to Bobby Knuckles last time, I think there's a dentist, or it might even be a doctor, that did a great breakdown of what exactly happened to his jaw, because that picture haunts me. It is in my brain, and I see it sometimes in the middle of the night of those teeth that have been removed. I can't tell you the amount of other stuff that I had to watch to try to erase that from my brain, but I tried to get rid of it. I'm curious to see what Hamzat is going to do. Let's think about it. We've been talking about the legend of Hamzat for forever. This guy fought this division. 8 days later, he fought another division, and he's killing everybody. And then he caught COVID, and then it just looked like it was almost all over. And then Hamzat came where he's just had long periods of inactivity. So what do we do here? This guy's eventually going to get a shot. I think in terms of the better matchup against Hamzat versus DDP, I think I'd really like to see that. That would be interesting, because I have to admit, I'm not a DDP fan. I'm working my way around to it. I'm trying to see the skills and not the person, right? I'm not a DDP fan right now, but I got to give him the props that what he's done. It definitely broke my heart. He beat Adesanya, submitted Adesanya, which really it was a bad weekend for me at that point. I was expecting the sun not to come up on Sunday the way things are going. But you got to give him his props. And I have to acknowledge the skill that the man brings to the ring. And also the love that South Africa is showing him and everything else, man. You got rugby people tripping over themselves, coming out for DDP, which is great. It's great to see another area of the world to get behind their guy. But we got Strickland DDP. So what does Strickland need to do to not up and even this series? He can't fight like he did last time. Again, I think he needs to add more pressure. I mean, think about it. He was all up in Izzy's life the entire time. He was just, he was inside of Izzy's phone, man. He was all the way up on him, and it really gave him a hard time to try to deal with that. So if you do that with DDP, yeah, he's gonna try to take you down. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you. But you gotta touch him up before he puts you on your back. So the big question is strictly, okay, well, how do I make this different this time? So that's the riddle that he has to solve.
Yeah. It's gonna be that's another one. Like, this is where we have stacked ass divisions and you got a lot of shit going on that you feel like, what's the name? Also, too, you can also add in the fact that Chimaev is a health risk every time he's about to fight.
Yeah.
It's been like what, 2 or 3 events that we've had where it's like the week before he's like, nope, he's out. I think it was one I was going to too. Like one or two that I was actually going to that he went out. Yeah, I have the worst luck. I had tickets for the original John Jones MSG last year, not the one I just passed, the one before, and Alex Pereira saved the day. So this is how I see Alex Pereira 4 times, because every time I go, somebody pulls out, and then Alex was like, drama, and then he takes over and wins the day. So
it's not a bad thing.
It's not
I was gonna say
4 times.
I literally, so that history of like the whole like buildup of like him winning all of those fights in history, I've seen like 75% of that live. Right. So that's very blessed, very grateful to be able to see that man. And then I seen his sister have an amazing debut in Karate Combat, right?
Exactly.
So which we should probably jump over to that too. But honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Restream is acting crazy. I cannot move anything. I cannot share anything. I don't even know if I can end this live when we're done, but we're just going to stay like this for the rest of the live. I can't share anything else. I had the video of the guy that the Spain just going to fight, but it would not let me do anything right now, dude. Like, it's
the parking lot video.
Yeah, the one from what's the name? It won't let me do anything. So Amal, I don't know if it'll let you share, but if you want to, I'll drop it in the private for you.
See if I can get that.
But it's just a link from Twitter. But what I want to say is, I said a little bit earlier. Oh, I can't even drop it in private chat. Awesome. Wow. I'm gonna message it to you on Instagram, on Twitter. Gotcha. So we talked about a few, right? We already know the main event, Arturo Vergara versus Owen Chamia, insane fight. 2 of our friends, super banger. It's going to be an insane one. You got Igor de Castaneda versus Cosmo Alexandre with his debut. Cosmo Alexandre is his first time fighting. Igor de Castaneda, a longtime karate guy, been in Karate Combat for a while. So it's good to see him come back and fight. And he's calls himself the Bull. There we go. Oh, can we show it? Please let me show it. Please. No, it won't let me do anything. All right, whatever. Restream hates me today, guys. It's frozen. I knew I tried Restream and something different today, so I know never to do this again. All right, but like we said, Igor versus Igor de Castaneda. I think he's from Spain. I want to say Iberian Bull, right? The Iberian Bull. He'll be going up against Cosmo Alexandre, who is kickboxing, a bunch of other stuff. He's done a lot. He's a journeyman. He's been all around champion. He's a legend. Quite a few. Brazil. Say that again.
He's a legend in Brazil. One of the best strikers to come out of Brazil.
Yeah. Mal, was you about to say something?
I was gonna say, when I think Cosmo, I first think of him breaking Sage Norcutt.
Yep.
That's why. And from knowing one of the hardest things, and let me step out of this for just a second. When you start to meet people, you start to talk to them, you realize they're regular people, even though they fight in cages and pits and everything else. And from knowing, I knew Sage Norcutt when he was a kid, when he was running around in like karate tournaments, right? Running around with his sister and everything. And when I saw what happened, it hurt. And like, the thing is funny when you don't like, different when you have parlay, you got money online. But when I see people that I kind of know and I got affiliation and I get super nervous. I find it more stressful to watch a match like that than it is just like, oh, hey man, there's a belt on the line. But what he did, and I remember when I saw the news, I texted his sister and I was like, how is he doing? And she shared that picture you see Sage with the thumbs up after just having face surgery. He's like, this is the only kid I know that just pops up after having multiple hour surgery and he's like smiling and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, but that affects your life. Forget your combat career. Your life is going to be forever different because of that. And a guy did that with a punch, right? So, yeah, let's see what happens in the pit. Igor's huge. He's a massive guy.
Yeah.
Talking to Ross about their fights, he was like, this dude is huge, man. He's way bigger. That even though we're fighting the same weight division, he carries his weight differently. He's just bigger. And he's like, yeah, I can't let him touch me. I got to be there first. And you realize that the other human that you're in this fighting contest with has the same exact chance and ability to do what you want to do to them. Your job is like, man, I want a quick night. I want to knock this guy out. I want to submit him, whatever the discipline is. But the equal chance of that happening to you as well. So you could end up looking at the lights, the ref saving you, and then you talking to the paramedics in the back, and then you're sitting on the sidelines for 3 months on concussion protocol because you went the wrong way. Something happened in a split second. You think about it. There was no 3-minute loss of concentration. There was a split second of something that you did wrong and the other person took advantage of, and now your night is over and you got an L. So yeah. I just found out about this before we did the show. I really like this match. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, I think it's a well-deserved co-main event due to both of them. Igor being a longtime karate guy and a bull, as his name implies, he's very tough. And Cosmo being a legend that he is, coming from his respective martial arts, it's going to be a good one. And it's also going to be another test for the karate guys, right? Here's another guy coming in from another martial art or other martial arts, right? Because he's done quite a few. Somebody who's coming into your house, to your pit, something you're familiar with, you fought in multiple times, and we got to see if the karate guys can stand strong. And it's kind of like the sentiment we've been going over the last few weeks, especially after the Thailand event, is do the karate guys still got it in them to adapt and make this still their home, where they're the dominant fighters here? Or are we going to see karate combat end up being dominated by other, like you have guys like Muay Thai guys like Adam Noy coming in and just wrecking divisions, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to see. This is another one of those tests. But before the co-main event, I think this is right before the co-main event, we got Rebellis Spain versus Dominic. Oh, buddy, here we go with one of these names. You ready, guys?
You already know this one. You already know this one.
No, I don't.
Come on, you don't recognize that last name?
Oh, I don't know how to say theirs either. I recognize it. I recognize that I can't say it to save my life.
I'll be your last name guy. It's Young Jacek.
Okay, Young Jacek. All right. Don't they got one of those? It's another one that's kind of like that in the NFL too, right?
I don't know about the NFL, but I know one that used to be in the UFC.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm talking about.
By the way, the spelling is the exact same. I wonder if they're related.
That would be interesting. But this, I'll tell you this: if they are related, holy, because you don't want to fuck with that guy, because this man is 6'10", and I don't know how much he weighs, but it's super heavyweight. So I mean, it's open weight. He could weigh 400 pounds. Doesn't matter. He made weight. If he has weight, that's all you need.
All you need is mass.
All you need is weight. That's it. You don't like, as long as you weigh something, I guess you're good. So we don't know exactly how big this man is as far as weight wise, but he is 6'10", 6 feet 10 inches, which is huge. He's going up against Rebellis in Spain. Yeah, he's taller than Rebellis. That's what they were saying. So basically, the sentiment what President Austin was saying was, you have this huge dude, this massive fighter, and who are you going to find to fight him? He's going to just tower over everybody. President Austin made it his job to go and find the biggest motherfucker he could find out there to fight him. And that just happened to be this guy who's freaking massive. So we're about to honestly pit the karate combat pit to the strength test in this next fight, because I don't think there's ever been this much weight in the pit during a fight. Maybe after, when everybody goes in the pit after the fight. But during the fight, I do not think we will probably be about, including the referee, I think we'll be close to almost 1,000 pounds in the ref. If you have Mark Goddard, I think you have to have Mark Goddard at this point. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to already be there, because UFC Tampa is right before this, which means UFC Tampa's this weekend, Karate Combat's next week. More than likely, Mark Goddard and them are just going to hang out for the rest of the week and do Karate Combat, which means Mark Goddard, who's about 2 and some change. And then you got two guys that are probably about almost high twos, almost threes, dude. There's gonna be a lot of weight in that, and we're gonna see
You need
how
someone that can
strong.
control it.
Yeah, we're gonna see how strong that karate combat pit is. Do we think that Robelis is gonna come in here and just kind of destroy this guy? I mean, I couldn't honestly. I looked the guy up. I could only find.
Yes. There's only one fight on his record.
Yeah, so I seen it says 1-1-0 on one of the things that I found. And then the other one said 1-0, right? Which is a loss.
0-1, yeah.
Yeah, 0-1, which is a loss, right? So
that guy he lost to is also half his size, which is pretty concerning for me because not only is Robelis a giant, but he moves like a lightweight. He's a Taekwondo Olympic gold medalist. And he finished his first 4 UFC fights in like under 3 minutes combined. I mean, the dude clearly has devastating knockout power. And if you look at his losses in the UFC, not a single fighter outstruck him. They just took advantage of the holes in his grappling.
Yeah,
and that's something that the karate combat rule set is designed to prevent. So I think personally that Robelis has all of the tools to be an absolute world beater in an ultra heavyweight in karate combat. He's literally built for this competition, and this is a perfect place for him. Yeah. I think he's going to starch Young Jacek.
I think he's too long to even try to like bully him with the ground and pound in karate combat, right? Because you can't fully grapple anybody. You can't connect your arms. You can't connect your hands. Any of that type of stuff, right? Ground and pound is still kind of a thing. You can kind of use the pressure, keeping one knee up, and then kind of using your other knee as pressure on top of them and stuff. But even then, I think he's too long for you to even try that with him. Like those legs start kicking out, dude. You're pitting yourself in a lot of danger. That he could kick. I promise you, Robelis on the ground could probably kick a guy in the chin that's about 5'6", 5'10", easily, no problems. So it's like you don't want to be in the trajectory of those up kicks. You don't want to be right there. That man, have you seen how quickly he can get a kick up? I wish I could pull the videos up. This dude is
like a lightweight. He moves like a freaking lightweight.
His coach is holding. You can't see my arm because it's a small shot, but the coach is holding it above his head. The coach had to be about 6 and some change, and this man is getting up there with ease. His like movement is like he's a freaking ballerina or something, bro. Like he's nimble on his feet. He can move quickly. It does not look like it's all that weight, bro. And honestly, it's gonna be hard to 1, find people to fight him, and 2, to find people that's gonna beat him, bro. Especially in this rule set. Now in the UFC, I will have a different sentiment because there's a lot of guys that are extreme wrestlers that are really fucking good that will play with him. Like to be honest, how lackluster his wrestling is, like somebody like John Jones would just play with him the entire time.
It would be like a ground fight.
Yeah, if he made it to John Jones would have did the same exact thing, in my opinion, that he did to Cyril Gahn. Like he would just literally play with him, and then look at it like, it's over, right? Like so.
But I think honestly, if he fought anybody that beat him in the UFC, which I believe was just Waldo Cortez Acosta and Austin Lane, if I remember correctly, he fought either of those guys in the karate combat pit, he would leave them staring at lights.
Yeah, I honestly want to see how well he uses the pit with his size. Imagine his big ass jumping off the pit with a Superman punch.
You're gonna start an earthquake, bro.
Call the police. Just call the police, man.
I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna make sure when he's fighting that I'm not near the pit, bro. I'm scared for the pit, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't want to do a live shot. You don't want to have your back to the pit. Be doing a live shot.
But no,
end up the story.
But no, pit me about 3 steps up, away from the motherfuckers.
You might need to replace me next week then, because we got the booth over there, so I'll be pit side. I might not make it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Be safe over there, man. You might want to. I don't even know what to do. It's nothing you can do. If they start falling towards you, it's over. Like if Robelis falls on me, you ever seen the cartoons where they got to come with the spatula and blow them up and then flip their ass and shit? That's me, bro. So I'm trying to stay far away from that pit, man. Who knows, bro? But it's definitely a bear versus a bear. I think. Yeah, you got an Arctic bear versus a black bear, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen, man.
It'll be a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly though, it ends in the first round, 100%.
Yeah, and you know what?
I don't think we see a second round from Robelis for quite a few fights. Go ahead, Mallory. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, whereas you get that type of explosion, the crowd loves it. I mean, ever since we have had sanctioned prize fights, the lure of the heavyweight. The bigger the fighter, the bigger the two fighters, the greater the pop from the crowd when a guy gets spectacularly knocked out. I mean, it's a win-win for any promotion to put on something like that, as long as it delivers. Because you did get a Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou type of situation, which everybody was just waiting for fireworks, and we didn't know that we poured water on and submerged and kept those fireworks in water for 6 weeks before we got there. We couldn't light those things that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get that. I think you're going to have a great pop from everybody there.
Yeah, definitely something that we look forward to seeing, man. I love when the big boys fight, bro. I'm a huge fan. I was very upset with the whole Elvin Nagaev situation and freaking what was that, Thailand, the last fight, the kickback where he took the head injury and they stopped it.
Scrivers, Edgar
Scrivers. I'm sorry. Yeah. So when the bigger guys are fighting, man, I love to see it. I'm more interested in too is like, who are we gonna find? Like somebody has to go giant searching, like literally. Somebody has to go to like Mongolia. I'm trying to think of places with really tall people. Sudan, maybe a little bit of Congo,
Iceland,
Cameroon, Iceland. Yep, them too.
Yeah.
Those guys, the Polish guys too. They pretty tall. Stay out of Asia. They not tall.
It's gonna be low.
Yeah, it's gonna be low ceilings there. But like Mongolians and shit, they're huge. So let's try like up there towards that range and stuff. But it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I feel bad for Leo. I love Leo Gomez with all my heart. But brother, you're about to have a task on your hands finding people that are the size to fight this man and now even want to fight this man. But
have you seen this wave of World's Strongest Men now training mixed martial arts?
Yes, I have. I remember
those guys. That would be
let's get Eddie. What's his name?
Eddie Hall.
Eddie Hall. He wants to fight in Karate Combat. He said it before. Yeah, he mentioned Karate Combat before, so that'd be dope. I mean,
he's like 400 pounds. That's great.
Yeah, he fought two smaller MMA fighters at one time, which was hilarious. He was just throwing them around the ring. It was, oh my god, it was
the first
spectacle.
The first 2.5 rounds were nothing, and then he powerbombed them.
Exactly, which is amazing. So yeah, I would love to see that. Maybe Rebellis. That would suck though. But I mean, he could be on like some exhibition fights, some crazy exhibition fights, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And they honestly could pull in people, right? So, but he said he wants to go, so I don't think he has his mindset on that. They're gonna have to find him some opponents. They're gonna definitely have to find some opponents, but they're gonna have to find big guys anyways. But I can say that I know for a fact that they added more people to recruitment. Especially in different areas. Like I know for a fact there's a recruiter like in Pakistan right now and like the Middle East that's strictly worrying about that area of things. Thailand, the Middle East, Singapore, like all of those Muay Thai areas, all of the karate guys coming. That's why you've seen a lot of guys from Pakistan come up, a lot of people from India coming up, a lot of people from the Dagestani regions and the Russian regions up there, right? You see a lot of those guys starting to come in fighting Karate Combat as we're over there because they're starting to position them. So hopefully those would be the best fight. Because also, too, up in those mountains in like the Middle East and stuff like that is where you find them big motherfuckers out of nowhere. Like, where does this huge guy come from? Just this massive Iranian dude in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's huge, right? So it's good that they got recruitment out there. I think they started ramping up recruitment and like getting more recruiters. And the fact of knowing that they're going to just start to do this stuff because heavyweight needs more people. Super heavyweight is definitely going to need people now. Right now, we literally only have 2 contracted fighters as of public knowledge. The women's division, super heavyweight, Bantam's fine. Yeah. Bantam's fine for a long time. Yeah. Middleweight's fine. They just got to figure out a champ situation there. Welter's where Raymond's at, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good division. It's just stale right now. Yeah. I feel like it's good. It's just not good fights happening right now, and it's not enough going on for the welterweight division right now. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's one of the divisions that needs help. I don't think any divisions are bad. I just think they need help in certain areas because welter has a lot of great fighters, like amazing, like entertaining fighters, like great ones. So it's like, we'll see, man. Any other? Before I do, these are confirmed fights or confirmed fighters that I have seen from social medias and anything public that Karate Combat has posted. All right. This is what I have so far. Now, me, Mal, and MMA Pickers have talked about doing a show on Monday for you guys to do the full breakdown. I'm gonna try to get as many fights as I can so we can break them down. I'm gonna try to do that tonight and tomorrow. I'm gonna be hitting up Leo Gomez and everybody to see if I can get some of these confirmed fights. But right now, like we said, Owen Chelmia and Arturo Vergara, main event. Co-main event, Cosmo Alexandre versus Igor de Castaneda. Amazing fight. After that, Despain versus Dominic Pickers.
Sorry?
Dominic
You caught me.
Jerseychik.
Oh, you need my last name, Power.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Young J
All
Check.
right. Yeah, there you go.
That.
Against him. We do know that Rafael Alves is fighting to be determined of who his opponent is. Andres Madera versus Gabriel Varga. That is a good one. Two karate guys. That's going to be a beautiful fight. Honestly, I want to say this one is for contention. Because both of them are pretty. I think both of them are ranked fighters. If I'm not correct, I wish Mac Tyson was here today. Shout out Mac Tyson. He had to take a day today for some family issues. Take care of fam. That's what you got to do as a man. So he got to do that. We holding it down. But I wish he was here right now because
he would know.
He would know everything. All right. Also, Jesus Lopez, another amazing fighter from Karate Combat that we're going to see come back. His opponent is to be determined, and Goga. Gogo, straight out of the Goat Shed, one of President Awesome's fighters as well, will be fighting on that card, and his opponents to be determined. Now, another fight that we do have locked in, and we talked to Saba last week. Saba Nava Vinjad, I think I said that right. She told it to me last week, and Jay Duran is going to fight, which is going to be crazy. That one's going to be good. That one is going to be good. I can't wait to break down this fight because Jay Duran came in. She had a great performance against Stephanie Skinner. I think Stephanie Skinner was a little, like we said, she was a little sick. I think she was under the weather from all of the traveling, but she still stuck it through and fought, which big ups to her for that. But to me, that just leaves questions of, hey, Jade, can you get it done when homegirl's at 100%? And can you get it done against somebody like Saba, who's an absolute savage in the ring, right? You're talking about a girl who grew up doing construction with her dad. She has pure strength. She's literally training with James Vick and his sensei over down there in Texas. She's been on the stage of martial arts her entire life. She's a very smart person. She also does music, which a lot of things correlate with people with music and knowing how to play instruments and IQ. So that all leads into the fight thing. And then you got Jay Duran, who works with Goat Shed, who's trained with a lot of great people out of the country, in the country. She's had a lot of fights, kind of here and there, and hit or miss for her at MMA. But when it comes to pure strike and stuff, she does really, really good, right? And we've seen Saba take out Fabiola, which to me, I felt like Fabiola was one of the best in the division, and Saba made quick work of her and easy work of her applied to Carmen. I feel like Saba was supposed to be a layup for Fabiola, and it ended up you having one of those situations where you find out the layup is actually the slam dunk, right? And we find that out a lot when it comes to these kind of fights. So I'm super interested in that one. I think that's one of the fights I'm more excited about for the night, outside of the main event, right? Outside of the last three fights, right?
Right.
Despain, I think we all want to see that debut. We all want to see Cosmo's debut and to see if the Karate Gods can hold it down. And I mean, it's not a person in the world that likes MMA and knows both of these guys that don't want to see them fight, right? Because they know how good it's going to be. But outside of that, I'm super excited to see how the women's divisions are going to start panning out, because Aileen Pereira should be fighting sometime again soon. It's been about 2 months. This will be the third event where she hasn't fought. I think she fought in Singapore, so it's been this one. So, and she didn't take any injuries.
Fought at Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, you're right.
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City after Singapore. So it's only been one event since it's been one event. So she probably got about 2 more. She'll probably be at one of the Asian cards, maybe. So this is gonna be crazy. The girls' divisions are starting to actually make something happen over there. We getting a lot of girls that like, and Jade Duran too. I like Jade and Saba because they're both very marketable. And Sam made a really good point when he was on the show. And it's one of the best things he said about advice to Karate Combat is having memorable fighters. People that people are going to attach to, that people are going to be like, oh, I remember that guy from the last time, or are going to go watch it because of they have left a memorable impression on the person, right? Jay Duran is one of those, very energetic. She's very nice. She's like that sweet girl, right? Now, I don't know what her real life is, but on camera, she's perfect for marketing purposes and everything else, right? And then you got, on the other hand, Saba, who's also somebody who can appeal to a whole nother audience, right? She appeals to the Middle Eastern girls. She appeals to all of the girls that want to fight that are in areas where they feel like they can't do that. So she's like a motivational factor to other girls, other places like Asharoka and what's the other girl name? Anita Karem that we talked about, who are leading the charge for Iran and Pakistan, or India and Pakistan, right? So I feel like I'm super excited for the women's division, man. I'm super excited. I love this fight. I feel like it's gonna be. I don't know who's gonna win. I feel like when it comes to striking, I think Saba's got it. When it comes to knowledge and experience, I think Jay might be at the upper hand of this one. But I got to do my full breakdown to give you guys an answer. Anything else y'all want to say about that fight, Saba and Jay?
Nah, I'm looking for that as well, man. I'm just pull up stats over on the third monitor here. It's man, being a girl dad, I mean, 3 daughters. I'm extremely happy with this era of all of lady sports that we're shining the spotlight on. You know, whether they're dunking a basketball, kicking a soccer ball, or whatever, or more or less that moment when we started getting the lady warriors in to combat sports, because they come in and they show out every single time. Yeah. So it's a good time to be a sports fan, especially, and letting these ladies go on. Hell, you may tune into a fight and find out your daughter is knocking people out, and you never had a clue about it. So shout out to the ladies, you know?
Yeah. Because that old girl from the UFC and that fought in China, she was literally a doctor by day and KO her by night.
I mean, it just works perfectly. Just knock you out, boom, treat you, and then charge your insurance. It's a whole thing, man. I like it.
That's
knock you out.
Yeah, I like that.
Just knock you out and hand you the insurance papers. Here you go. Just sign right here.
Go. I'm going to get paid twice.
Exactly. Amazing. Well, yeah, man, I'm super excited. My daughter also as well mentioned that she wanted to get into combat sports. So to be able to see people like this, I kind of show her these examples of her being able to do stuff she want to do. So more than likely, me and her will be joining a gym together soon. Speaking of women in combat sports as well, I want to talk about one more thing before we hop into MMA picks of the week for the UFC. It's kind of a touchy subject here, but one that we got to talk about, man. It's trending right now, and it involves one of the I want to say WBC. Where's Clarissa at now?
Well, she's got a bunch of different belts now.
Yeah, she's got a bunch. I don't want to misspeak on her. So let me make sure I pull up her correct.
Isn't she like undisputed in 2 weight divisions or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to make sure exactly which one she's in. I think she's WBA.
MMA falls out of my.
I think she's WBA. Yeah, so 15-time world champion, 3-time undisputed champion, and light heavyweight and heavyweight of the world, 2-time Olympic champion, 15-0 with 3 KO. So we got to talk about her if something goes crazy, right? This lady is insane, and she's having a little altercation with. It's kind of a love triangle with her and 2 rappers, which is insane, right? You have Remy Martin, aka Remy Ma, who is the wife of Papoose, another rapper. Remy Ma's a Grammy Award-winning rapper. Actually, she won a Grammy for All the Way Up. Papoose, wouldn't say he's got a lot of awards, but he was a great rapper. He was a really good lyricist. And her and him seemed to be a power couple for a very long time. Actually, somebody who led the charge of like not cheating and all of this stuff, which is actually interesting that we're even talking about this now, because it's supposedly Clarissa Shields and Papoose having somewhat of an affair, I'm guessing. I don't know exactly how it's going down with if they're actually divorced, if he's asking for a divorce, and this is kind of like what he's doing in between. But sticky situation here, because I'll kind of give the timeline of this, right? So Remy Ma found text messages and exposed them between Papoose and Shields, right? Shields responds basically saying that the text messages were fabricated. And then Remy Ma shows more text messages and more proof. And Shields just basically kept saying that it was fabricated and throwing shots at Remy Ma. Shields still denied the accusations. And then the situation escalated on social media, basically with both of them making statements, and Shields' statement, which is the reason I'm talking about this now. I know it's a messy situation, but this is the reason I'm talking about it. Shields' statement was to call out Remy Ma, right? And the reason I brought this whole thing up is because Chris Cyborg has been calling out Clarissa Shields for the last like year, bro.
Right,
And
right.
the fact that you will call out a rapper that has no fight experience ever. Now, mind you, she is a dangerous motherfucker, and I'm gonna get to that point too. Has no fight skills whatsoever. When somebody clearly wants to fight you, that's probably going to be one of the biggest paychecks that women's sports is going to see because of the sheer, like you have the best women's MMA practitioner of all time. I don't care what you say. She's one of the best women in combat sports ever versus one of the best boxers ever, right? It's going to be one of the biggest paychecks ever. So what are you calling out Remy Ma for, knowing you're going to beat her senseless, right? Now, my first thought is, yes, you're trying to build a fight. She does have a championship fight that she has coming up. I want to say it's this weekend. Or sometime soon, but she has that, so she's trying to do that. But at the end of the day, this is insane. One, to even get wrapped up in this situation, but for your first thing to do when you start calling people out is to call out a rapper who has nothing to do with it. Now, the funny part why I say Remy Ma is dangerous is because if you do know about Remy Ma spent 6 years in prison, and it was from shooting her friend over owing her money. So,
Well,
I don't think Remy's coming with hands, okay? So, Clarissa, if you like boxing and staying on with your career, I think you might want to leave her alone. I don't think she's one of the ones, like, people play around and say they'll do something. She's actually done it and done the time, and she did it to her friend. So she don't care about you at all. So there's a real sticky situation. If y'all do have any thoughts on this, by all means, on any positions that I put out there. But I just thought it was very interesting. And interesting that she called her out, but also just an interesting story in general. I never thought on my bingo card that I would see Clarissa Shields and Papoose, like ever. Because Papoose is like 45, I want to say. He's older. And Clarissa's, she's quite young. So I didn't have this on my bingo card. It threw me for a loop. And it's a continuous thing that's going on. Oh, shout out 50 Cent. This is what I wanted to say.
Oh, there you go.
You gotta love 50, bro. 50 always figures out a way how to get into any debacle and make it about him or anything, right? He goes, 50 Cent chimed in cautioning Shields against provoking Remy, who served 6 years in prison following a 2007 shooting incident. Whatever you do, don't fight her. She will get the blick, champ. And for people who don't know what the blick is, it is a gun, okay? That is your Urban Dictionary definition right there. It is a gun. So implying that Remy Ma is not one to be trifled with. So, dude, my question is just... Yeah.
W social media right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's building her fight up, so that's cool, but it's just towards the wrong side. Like, this is her opponent right now is probably like, fuck, like, hello?
Cyborg sitting over there like, hold on, what's going on? I thought I was the one who was supposed to be fighting. It's, just to jump right in this is kind of like jumping into, it's not a mud wrestling match just to sit in here and talk about it. It's just, man, it's social media muck. I mean, there is always going to be some he said, she said, whomever said, whatever said. This could get messy real quick. Do I think it's any way Remy Ma faces Clarissa Shields in the box match? Absolutely not. You're going to have triple, double, multiple metal detectors before even getting that match to search the fighters, search the fans, and everything else. And of course, that at the end of the day, it's like, you beat up someone that doesn't have any skills in their hands. Yeah, you want to see the beef settle in a fight, but it's really advantage the combat sports athlete.
Exactly.
So will that actually happen? I don't think so. It's just, but it makes for good banner. And again, you still have Cyborg waiting in the wings, who does not talk trash herself. In fact, she spends a lot of time defending herself about people talking trash about her. She's from what I understand, a good person, down to earth, really sweet and everything. Just commits murder in a ring legally, which is what her job is.
Yeah.
I think that you could steal some of that hype and continue to bring that to this proposed match for these two ladies.
Mm-hmm.
But God, let that play out in social media. It's gonna just keep going. It just keeps going on its own.
Yeah. Well, I will hope she's not home wrecking out here. I will hope that she was under the impression that they were getting divorced or something, because that would look bad. I think more of the fact that I think of the little girls who look up to her, and this whole situation being something that's like, you're a role model, so you got to kind of be careful, right? One, all three of you are famous, right? So everybody has platforms here. Everybody has the opportunity or the platform or audience to push it out to a lot of people, right? So this could get messy really quickly. I think one, Papoose could be a little smarter and mess with some girls that's a little less famous. That might be smart if you are going to do stuff like this. And Clarissa, maybe double check if they're still married or not, or telling you that they're not married and still laying at their ex-wife's house. So very interesting. I think Clarissa needs to focus up on her fight coming up. Also, Remy Ma, Papoose, y'all need to figure out what y'all got going on. I think it's a little more. She got to fight February 2nd, and it's against Perkins. And it's a unified World Heavyweight Championship fight. And this is the Super Brawl, which I think they're kind of making a play on the Super Bowl because it's on February 2nd, which is usually right around the same time. Right. Yeah. So interesting, very interesting. Go ahead.
One thing I want to throw out there real quick, because I know Picker's got some fire picks that he's got for the weekend. But let me ask you this: here's just kind of like a thought experiment. We had this, but it really wasn't what it was. Can you imagine Muhammad Ali having social media at the time when he was making his rise?
That would be
Let's just think about that for a minute.
That would have been terrible. I think, but you got to think at the same time Muhammad Ali's around, you have Malcolm X and Martin Luther King too.
Oh, hey, let's just put it all in there, man.
It was a lot of interesting people around. I think like Fidel Castro and them around that time too. So it's like a lot of interesting people. I think it would have been crazy.
It would have been absolutely insane. I mean, first of all, you got Muhammad Ali, who had to do his trash talking, going to people's camps, and like you said, 50% of people came here to see me lose, 50% came to see me win, 100% paid. So Muhammad Ali was about all that back then in the day. But if you can imagine him, having to defend himself and everything else, you give Malcolm X social media, and the whole world just changes right there. I mean, think about it. Whether you like him or not, the man, to hear him speak was just dynamic. He could motivate you in ways, you give it to MLK, so on and so forth. But it would be insane if you had that, actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad it did, man. I think a lot more people would have been a lot earlier. I think not having social media separated us from the actual crazy people for a long time.
But
now it's a direct connection between us and them. So I feel like back then it would have been a lot worse. So luckily we didn't. And now we just got Clarissa Shields and Remy Ma going at it. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I guess we're going all the way up. Pun intended. But
is setting the stage high.
Big facts. But you already know, man, if you stuck around this long, there's a reason, man, because you're probably a smart individual that knows at the end of this show, we like to reward our viewers with some great picks, because MMA Pickers is one of the best MMA analysts when it comes to sports betting that I know, bro, because honestly, no other MMA sports bettor has ever made me money. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This man is the only man that's ever helped me make money. Sorry, I love MMA Guru and all those other guys, but usually their predictions aren't the best. But luckily, we got MMA Pickers who's the best to do it. I cannot full screen him today, unfortunately, due to the fact of Restream acting crazy. But I'm going to let him rock. This is his time. I'm going to do a little drum roll. This is MMA Pickers Picks of the Week. Listen up if you want to make some money.
All right. Thank you for that very kind introduction. I appreciate it. I'm glad you made some money. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to go through it just like I did it last week. I'm going to do fight by fight, and I'm going to make a separation that everyone should pay attention to. There's a simple prediction as far as what the outcome of the fight's going to be, and then there's the bet. The reason the prediction and the bet are different is even if something is more likely to happen when we pick bets, we look for value. We never try to predict the future. This is fighting. Literally anything could happen at any time, but based on the likelihood of certain things happening, if we can find good betting value, that's what we look for, and over the long run, that's how we win. So the first fight of the night is Knudsen versus Rodriguez. I actually think this fight's a lot closer than it is on paper with the odds right now. Josephine Knudsen sitting at a minus 245. Fight's very likely to go decision. There's a good parlay booster if you want to take it. It's not so generous as far as the money line, but minus 520 could be good to pair with another confident money line pick. But I actually think I'm going to take the underdog pick here as far as the bet with Piera Rodriguez. Not only is it a very close fight, but we often see judging is very interesting for women's fights in the UFC, and it often goes awry. I could see a very real reality where this fight just plays out on the feet, and it's a point fighting battle, and Piera Rodriguez does have pretty good boxing. So at plus 200, I do like the value on that, and I'll put a little sprinkle on Rodriguez. Hold on, I'm sorry, my notes just froze. 1 second. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to turn down a plus 200 like that.
Gotta love him.
I do think Knutson would have a little bit of an advantage on a ground exchange, but I don't think her takedown game is all that strong. So I'm going to just rock with Rodriguez. Next fight is Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. This is a hard fight to pick. Davy Grant actually opened as a dog, and a lot of money has come in on him to be the favorite. He's 15-7. He's been on a good recent run, although he is coming off of a very close split decision loss to Daniel Marcos in his last fight. Very versatile skill set, good grappling, good striking, good kicks. Ramon Tavares, on the other hand, 10-2, has had a couple fights in the UFC. He actually fought Charles Crazy Horse Bennett 3 or 4 fights ago, so that was a fun fight. If you guys are a fan of craziness, go check that out. That was a lot of interesting things that happened in that fight, to say the least. I'm having trouble picking the money line here. So as far as my betting, both of these guys are cardio monsters, very durable. Neither of these guys is particularly extremely powerful with lots of knockouts on their record. And I think their submissions, their grappling is going to be a pretty even exchange as well. So I'm going to go with the over 2.5 at minus 120. And just off of my gut to pick the winner, this is the prediction, not the bet, but I'm going to go with Ramon Tavares. Next up, we got Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Jamie Lynn Horth, decent top control, very sloppy, awkward striking. And then on the other hand, we have Miranda Maverick, who's a rising star in the division. A lot of great performances in the UFC already. Really good ground and pound, great wrestling, good sub game, really good all around. And given that, she's a minus 600. Not a ton of value there. Not a ton of value on the minus 520. I would say the best value as far as a bet would be maybe minus 295 Miranda Maverick by decision. But she does finish fights. She does get ground and pound wins and submission wins. So I do hesitate to even take that at minus 300. Personally, I'll probably abstain from betting this fight and just enjoy it as a fan. We got Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. A lot of people are sleeping on Miles Johns here, but honestly, even though he's 210, I'm going to have to go with Felipe Lima at minus 258. I think that's a great parlay booster or a very small, profitable money line bet. Felipe Lima is an excellent prospect. He's really good everywhere, very durable, very good cardio. And I mean, Miles Johns is good everywhere too. He's durable, he's got good cardio, but I just think Felipe Lima is going to be a step ahead in this fight. Felipe Lima at minus 285 is a good parlay booster. And if you want to risk it a little bit more, I would say, give Miles Johns credit for his durability. Let's go Felipe Lima at decision for minus 110. Fight will probably mostly play out on the feet between these two guys. But wherever it goes, like I said, I don't think Felipe Lima will have a massive gapped advantage over Miles Johns, but he should be able to stay a step ahead. I'm really excited for the fight after that. We have Sean Woodson, who I believe is the tallest featherweight in UFC history. He's I saw 6'3" on my chart, but it says 6'2" over here. And I didn't even realize Fernando Padilla was that tall, but Fernando Padilla is 6'1". Sean Woodson has Golden Gloves boxing, very good MMA record. I think he has 1 or 2 losses, only 1 loss in the UFC as far as I'm aware. And he's just been tearing through the division, coming up real fast. Padilla, on the other hand, he has good pressure, he has good grappling, very strong submission game. He is good at some of the things that Sean Woodson has deficiencies in, but at the same time, if Sean Woodson can implement his game plan, that pressure-heavy boxing, using his range, his lankiness, and his speed, and obviously his boxing acumen, he is a Golden Glove boxer. I think this will be not easy work, but good, honest day's work for Sean Woodson here, and he'll come out with the win. I don't want to get greedy on this one and try to make a prediction. I'm just going to take the money line on Sean Woodson at minus 155. He's made me quite a bit of money on his UFC run, and I think that's going to continue. Next fight up is Joel Alvarez versus Jakar Close. If you guys haven't seen Joel Alvarez fight yet, oh my God, this guy is the future. Phenomenal kickboxing and striking. Devastating kicks to the body. Very, very good at using his tall frame. Very, very good with his range attacks. And he's got some nasty judo also. I mean, when guys try to close the gap on him, often he just tosses them right over the hip. He always lands right on top in side control and then just lays out some brutal ground and pounds. I really like the skill set and the game plan from the Joel Alvarez side. On the Jakar Close side, he's coming off a couple wins. I do think he's a bit overrated. I know he got that slam win a few fights ago. Obviously, that was very nice. But I think he's just some of his wins have come off of capitalizing on poor moves of his opponent, and they're not necessarily demonstrative that his skill set is on a level to somebody like Joel Alvarez. The money line reflects that, obviously. Joel Alvarez is, I believe, like a minus 420. Yeah, minus 425, minus 475 on yours. It's kind of hard to predict the method. KO right now is plus 275, submission is plus 165, decision plus 240. So I would say you can take the minus 425 as a parlay booster. I like the KO prop because Jakar Close is a bit chinny. Joel Alvarez does have good power in his strikes and very strong kicks, and they're very fast. And I think even in a situation where it does go to the ground and Joel Alvarez has top control, we might see some ground and pound just because Jakar Close is adept with his submission defense. So I do quite like that at plus 275. With that being said, I think I will go Joel Alvarez over a round and a half, and you'll get pretty close to even money on that bet. Next fight up, we have Michael Johnson versus Ottoman Zaitar. So first off, I'm probably going to sound like a hater when I say this, but I'm pretty sure Ottoman Zaitar is just in the UFC to be a can. I mean, this guy gets beat by everybody. But then on the other hand, Michael Johnson is the UFC's version of the Cleveland Browns. And what I mean by that is he loses fights that he's supposed to win, and he wins fights that he's supposed to lose. And there's no explanation for it. I'm probably just going to put a money line bet on Michael Johnson. Combine it with the over 1.5. That'll get you slight plus money. But this is a risky one. This is completely unpredictable. Hopefully the really good Michael Johnson shows up and makes easy work of Ottoman Zaitar, but I don't know. It's a Michael Johnson fight. It's very hard to predict. Proceed with caution. Next fight up, super excited about this one. You guys know we absolutely crushed the Contender Series this week, the entire season. We only had 2 weeks that weren't profitable. This was one of our big winners on the show, Navajo Sterling, who came through with the knockout for us. He's fighting Tuco Tokos, who seems to be a bit of a journeyman in the UFC. He likes to brawl. He does have some decent grappling. He's a big, strong guy, but Navajo Sterling is that thing. I mean, he trains out of City Kickboxing with some of the best guys in the world. He's getting in rounds with Carlos Olberg and Israel Adesanya, and you can see it in the way he strikes. Everything down to the way he twitches his hip to feint, the way that he covers ground, the way that he uses his jab. You can really see how similar it is to the other guys at City Kickboxing, and you can also tell by the way he knocks guys the fuck out. With that being said, we're going to take that's interesting. Your money line is a minus 900, which is worse than mine. Mine's only 750, but your knockout prop's minus 160 and mine's minus 190. But that being said, minus 190 knockout Navajo Sterling. Great either money line bet or parlay piece. Next fight up, Yanez versus Marcos. Marcos has been on a hot streak. We actually just talked about Davey Grant earlier, who Marcos beat by decision. Very versatile, has strong kicks, very good Muay Thai background, decent ground game. On the other side, we have Adrian Yanez, who we've seen display very strong boxing in the past, but he is a bit one-dimensional. I want to say Marcos is going to be the money line pick, but honestly, the best value that I can find as far as betting for this one is going to be the over 2.5. Both of these guys, good strikers, but also very defensively responsible, very durable, lower weight classes. So you do lose some of the power, and the over 2.5 is going to be trending at a minus 130 on DraftKings. Fight going the distance at minus 115, also not a horrible bet. If you want to spice a little bit, Daniel Marcos by decision is sitting at plus 150. And as much as I do like Adrian Yanez, and I do believe that pressure boxing is one of the better striking styles for MMA, to me, Daniel Marcos just has so many more tools in his bag on the feet. I think he's just going to be able to keep Adrian Yanez at bay and be able to use his vast selection of striking weapons against Yanez's very slim selection and kind of neutralize him, like use the strategies that are most effective to neutralize his pressure boxing. So I do think Daniel Marcos will be able to get that win. Next up, we got Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. Vitor Petrino is a massive favorite at minus 340. Dustin Jacoby coming off a pretty brutal KO loss in his last fight. Vitor Petrino coming off a submission. He was beating the crap out of Anthony Smith, and then he busted all our parlays when he went in for a takedown. Anthony Smith locked a guillotine in midair, and instead of trying to fight it, he just finished the takedown and got choked out. It was a very confusing, disturbing way to end a fight and lose a parlay. So a couple props from this fight. We got Vitor Petrino by KO plus 110, Vitor Petrino by decision plus 240. I like both of those. Dustin Jacoby by KO at plus 800. It's not a bad long shot bet. Dustin Jacoby does have quite the kickboxing acumen behind him. He was a very good competitive kickboxer before he started doing MMA. We've seen him knock guys out. It's really not bad. And Dustin Jacoby by decision at plus 500. Really not bad either. He might be the superior point fighter here, although I will say Petrino is the superior athlete with the superior power. But that being said, let's see the double method. I think I might take a long shot here. I didn't even see those odds before. But the double method for Dustin Jacoby by either KO or decision is going to be a plus 285. I don't know if that quite warrants a long shot. But if you want to put a tiny sprinkle on either Dustin Jacoby by KO or Dustin Jacoby by decision, I would highly advise it. But that being said, the official prediction is going to be Vitor Petrino. Not sure of the method. And let's put the official bet. Let's take the over 1.5 at minus 215. I think there's a good chance that there'll be a feeling out process in the first round and that this fight could go a little bit longer into the later half. Next fight up, we got Manel Kape and Bruno Silva. Manel Kape is a huge favorite in this fight at a minus 380. And we've seen him underperform against some of these Brazilian underdogs. I believe maybe it was Daniel De Silva that he fought a few fights ago. And he was like a minus 800, and he won the fight by split decision, or minus 700, something crazy like that. Maybe worth a little sprinkle on Silva. Very high chance this fight goes the distance. The over 2.5 is at minus 190. That's a good bet too. Or if you want to bet Manel Kape by decision, that's at a minus 110. I think that's a great bet. And for the official prediction, let's say Manel Kape by decision. Moving down the card, we have two fights left. We got Cub Swanson and Billy Quarantillo. Billy Quarantillo is coming off of a loss to Starboy, who just destroyed our boy Nate the Train. Sorry about that pick last week, guys. That wasn't even close. Cub Swanson, on the other hand, coming off of a little bit of a resurgence. Who did he just beat in lightweight? Or was it featherweight? Cub Swanson. I gotta look this up for you guys. Let's see. Cub Swanson. Oh, he just lost to Andre Fili, a split decision, but he beat Hakeem Dawodu the fight before that via decision. Okay, I see. So, 2-4 in his last four losses to Andre Fili and Jonathan Martinez. He did get a win. He did knock out Darren Elkins, and if you guys have ever seen Darren Elkins fight, that's pretty damn impressive. They call that dude the damage for a reason. The more you hit him, the better he gets. He's basically the Hulk. This is a pretty tough fight to call. I'm going to, again, I know I've taken this bet a few times, but I'm going to take the over on this one again at minus 154. Smaller weight class. Most of these guys' last fights have gone the distance. Except for that, unfortunately, that Starboy fight for Billy Quarantillo. I would say Billy Quarantillo should be the prediction, but I'm nervous about his chin after he took such a brutal knockout in the last fight. But if you want to risk it on him by decision, that's going to be a plus 215 payout, whereas Cub Swanson by decision is plus 250. So I guess however you feel this fight's going to go, the official prediction is take the decision. And if you just bet the decision outright and you don't pick a fighter to win, that's only a minus 125. So it's a pretty good bet too. So the over, the decision, or either fighter by decision, I think all of those picks regarding this fight have excellent value. So whatever you feel attracted to there, you really can't go wrong. Okay. Final fight of the night, we got Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley, and we touched on this fight earlier. Colby Covington by decision is now sitting as a 3-1 dog. I think that's an absolutely phenomenal value. Colby is, if you count interim title fights, he's 3-1 in title fights and 16-1 outside of title fights. He's got amazing wrestling. He's got insane pressure, and he's got, I would say him and a handful of guys are in an elite class of being tied for best cardio in the UFC. But you can make a very strong argument that he has the best cardio in the UFC. Obviously, his last fight was not great. There were a number of things medically that factored into that, of course. But he hopefully is fully recovered and obviously taking on a lesser caliber of opponent, going down from Leon Edwards to Joaquin Buckley. Buckley, on the other hand, very athletic, 4-0 in the division, very, very powerful. He's got that fast twitch muscle fiber, makes very quick movements. He's able to cover ground very quickly. And he's very durable. You hit him and he doesn't move. He keeps coming forward. And he's got some decent wrestling of his own right, although I don't think it'll be any challenge for Covington to out-wrestle him. If this fight stays on the feet, I think there's a decent chance we see Buckley get the KO, although I think the only person to KO Covington, as far as I'm aware, was Kamaru Usman when he TKO'd him in that 5th round after he broke his jaw. So don't be mistaken. Covington's a tough son of a bitch. But if this fight becomes a wrestling match, it's going to be a very dominant Covington decision win. I think there's a good chance that Covington will be able to wrestle with Joaquin. He is one of the best wrestlers in the division as far as we know. Hopefully he still is. And because of that, I'm going to put my faith in him, and I'm going to rock with Colby Covington by decision at plus 300. And that'll be the pick and the prediction. And if you guys want, I usually put up parlays on Saturday morning on our Discord at the Outlet SV. You can just go to my channel, the MMA Picker channel. It's all 100% free. I don't charge a penny. I just hope you guys can win some money with me. And that'll wrap up our picks for the week. Let's go eat, boys.
Let's go, brother. Once again, I finally got it fixed too. I had to open this on another Brave browser and then log in again and then kick myself out of the other one so that I could get it up for you. But I got it up. I didn't want to do it while I was actually live. So I was like, hopefully this doesn't. Yeah, I was like, hopefully this doesn't kick him out during this thing. We might have to film this afterwards. But it worked out perfect. And I love all of your picks for the most part. They're really great. I told you about Choi last week. You should have listened to me. I love your boy. I know Nate. I love Nate too. Honestly, I like watching him fight. But Choi is just a freaking beast, dude. I love him. He's another one of those fighters that just, what's the name? Another thing I want to talk about is, before we get up out of here is, bro, did anyone else notice the picture for Navajo, bro? Hold on. Look at what the dude. All right. No, let's not full screen. All right. Let's do this. There we go. All right. What the fuck is this, dude? I was scrolling and I'm like, what alien is fighting in the UFC now?
I mean, he's just real pale.
Yeah, but then look at this picture. It doesn't even look like the same person.
Well, that one looks edited. he looked more like the first one on Contender Series. That's all I'm saying.
Facts, though. He does. But this looks like Casper the Friendly Navajo. Like, bro, this is crazy. Like, yeah, that was insane. But yeah, everything else, I would definitely, Sean Woodson, I want to see him fight. I love him. He's a linky ass. He's a weird looking motherfucker when he fights, too. Very linky.
That one's risky though. That's gonna be a good fight because if Padilla can get it to the ground, he has good skills there.
Yeah, I want to say, where does he fight out Bulldog boxing? Okay, he looks familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere. Maybe
there was
one of his
viral videos of him and Charles Crazy Horse Bennett going around shit talking each other before their fight. Maybe you saw that. He also fought in
Yeah.
the UFC a few times.
Yeah. I feel like I see him in person somewhere. I don't know. Tuco's also a person I met. I met Brendan Allen, and him and Tuco are real good friends. And
Tuco's a beast.
he's massive. That motherfucker
he's a beast.
massive. He's
I just-
big. He's huge.
I don't think he's bigger than Navajo though.
Yeah, Navajo's huge, bro. I'm interested in seeing this fight because I like both of them. That's
Navajo's
definitely, and I feel
also conditioned like crazy. Looks like a
Yeah.
freaking bodybuilder. Look at him.
100%. Also, to that conditioning thing, I think Marab has the best tank in the UFC right now. I think Marab might have the best gas tank in the UFC right now.
I have 4 names.
Kobe's up there for sure.
I have 4 names, and I feel like you have to put all of them at number 1 because I don't think we've ever seen any of them get tired. You have Max Holloway,
Okay.
Colby Covington,
Yep.
Rob, Sean Strickland. I have never seen any of those guys get tired. So
Ian Gary, neither. You never really see him tired.
I've only seen him in 1 5-round fight.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, it's not many, bro. That cardio's a beast, bro. Like, people don't understand, man. I started in boxing, so I did some of the most extreme cardio you gotta do, bro. Boxing, I hated boxing.
12
What?
rounds, brutal.
I'm sorry, I got fucking muted. What the shit?
There we go.
Dang, I hate to talk. My bad, bro. I've been holding you back. My bad, player. Damn, fucking up. Nah, dude. Yeah, when I first got into boxing, my coach was like, "Yeah, we run 5 miles a day." I was like, "What you said?"
In the car?
Hold on. Like 3 times a week. He said, "No, every day."
Every day.
Every day we got up. I was training in Virginia Beach. We ran Mount Trashmore, about 3 laps around Mount Trashmore. And I think it's about a mile every 3. Oh no, it's like 1.5 or something every lap. So we just had to do about 3 of those, bro. And when I say that shit is intensive, it's intensive, but you could tell the difference. I used to cheat myself. And when I went in for my first fight, I used to cheat when I come around the corners and they couldn't see me anymore. I would cut through stuff. I would not. And I was young. I was like 12, 13 when I was fighting Golden Gloves, right? But I got into that match, and trust and believe. Oh, you can tell when you ain't do it right, when you ain't put in that work, because you feel it. You know what I'm saying? When people don't understand too, when it comes to cardio, it's different to have cardio and it's different to have fight cardio.
Yes.
So it's a wholly different thing because you can always have great cardio. You could play basketball, you could do a bunch of stuff, but until you actually get punched by somebody in your chest while you're trying to punch and exert energy at the same time, you don't understand what tired is. Until somebody punch all of the air out of your chest while you're fighting, and you still have to continue fighting.
A little bit higher stakes when someone's trying to punch you in the face versus your opponent dunks on you.
100%.
The other thing is if you're across the ring, and whether you have boxing gloves on or 4-ounce MMA gloves on or just doing karate itself, you can tell when somebody is out of gas and your eyes just light up. You're like, that clock says what? It says 1:59. Oh, I got all day to work. When someone is out of gas and you could just take their time because they can't defend, they can't run. Yeah. On the other hand, the worst feeling in this world when you out of gas.
100%. And desperation.
And the clock is going up. It's like, wait a minute, is this soccer? Why is there more time being added? Who's running the clock? That guy hates me. Could you please get to triple zeros? But yeah, cardio is king. I had a fight one time. I was coming back, and one of these guys came to me and said, "Mal, I love you. I can give you everything, but I can't give you cardio." And I actually started laughing during the match because I was like laughing between gasping, like, man, I should have done way more cardio before coming back early. It is great to have. It is terrible not to have.
Yeah, 100%, brother. I 100% agree. As somebody who got my ass kicked because I didn't have great cardio in Golden Gloves regionals in Virginia Beach, but actually I think it was in Norfolk that year. But dude, yeah, Raja whipped my ass that year. Shout out Raja, a little my homie, bro. It was one of my arch enemies growing up in boxing. It's a little white kid from the other side of town. Me and him used to go at it, bro. We were the best competitors for each other because we motivated each other. Like we respected each other, but we hated each other in the same fashion. So it was cool. We had a lot of good fights. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he continued doing boxing or not, but he was really good. Like, I got to say, he motivated me to get better. I just didn't keep up with it. I like the baseball.
Right. Rematch 2025. Roger, if you out there, rematch 2025. You and King.
Shit,
now?
Dude, we're probably both old as shit. Both our knees is probably shot to hell at this point. I shaved the beard off though. I don't know if y'all noticed that, man. I got rid of the beard, man. I went to, and that's crazy. My mom sent me a picture of my pops, and I was like, dang, I actually do look like my dad. And then she was like, "You shaved your beard off," and I couldn't figure it out. And here's a picture of my pops right here. Hold up. Let's see if I can get it in the
There
camera.
you
Look.
go. Oh man, yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah.
yeah, me and my brother are like spitting images of my pops, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, man, it's crazy. That's crazy too. And I did this unintentionally, and it's like right around the year anniversary of him passing. So I don't know. Maybe it's my little tribute to him, man. A little bit of
you got to give
little bit of
love.
stash. I'm in my
Give it up,
poppy
love.
arc. That's what I said. I'm in my poppy arc. You know, you go in the bodega and that guy in the back, and he got no beard, but he got the thick mustache.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Whipping up the sandwiches. Yeah, that's what arc I'm in right now. But I'm about to be in the ending arc because we're at the 2-hour mark, and it's one of the longer episodes, but they're always good ones. First off, I want to shout out MMA Pickers One for being here every week and bringing you guys all of the best bets he can. This man goes through it every week to get these bets for you, and he's very, 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 very attentive and pays a lot of attention to what's going on in the MMA world. Also, I want to thank Mallory Woods for coming on the show today and joining us as part of the Warriors Voice. Like I said, he will be a reoccurring guest. We'll have him on as much as possible. Also, make sure you guys tune in on Monday. We're going to figure out a time for that. I think we're doing 4:30, actually. We agreed on 4:30. So 4:30 to 5:30 on Monday, Eastern time. We will be doing a full card breakdown, or whatever fights we have, we'll do the breakdown for. All right. So that's what we'll have for you guys on Monday. We'll go ahead and do that. And I'll also repurpose and post the video for people to go back and watch later. I'll probably do like a more condensed version where you can kind of get the picks. But yeah, man, great freaking show. It's always a good one when we do kind of like a homie episode where we don't have guests and we can just kind of like talk. It's a little less structured and also a little less messes up more because we had all types of issues today.
Hey, you worked through them though. It's all good.
I did.
You worked through them.
I think we might have to move on from Restream. I don't know, man. It's I don't know. I'm gonna look at some more options, but we're doing good. Also,
Hey,
I did start. Go ahead.
If you need a guy, I got a guy.
Let's talk. I also started a Warriors Voice Twitter, and we will be posting MMA updates, news, all types of stuff. I'm setting up the bots now so that they can pull all MMA news and updates and breaking news for you guys, so you can stay on top of the MMA news. We're trying to build this thing out, but also I have to figure out ways to make shit go because, to be honest, guys, it's just us. We don't got no big team behind us. We don't got none of that shit. The thumbnails, I make them.
I got a guy.
Yeah. He also has a guy. So we're going to figure stuff out. He's got guys. We're going to have to connect those guys because there's a lot going on. I also did talk to an editor, so I do want to put out more content on the channel, videos throughout the week, man, highlighting some of these karate guys. It's a lot of cool shit, too. Like, that's another thing I got to do is I think we're going to go ahead and make this a segment, too. And I kind of give alpha for the people that's still here. It's a bunch of these weird-ass leagues around the world that I always end up on my Instagram feed. They always end up. I think we need to start. I think we need a segment. Yeah, yes, bro. I don't want to ruin it yet.
Oh man,
dude.
No. I don't want to.
We gotta have to start a segment. I don't know what the name is gonna be yet, but we're gonna find the wildest fucking combat leagues in the world, and we're gonna review them and kind of watch fights. Similar to stuff like Street Beef and what's the one that they fight on the shipping containers over the water? That one's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you. Yeah. I know.
I'm telling you, it's some stuff out there. Some crazy stuff out there.
Can I pitch you a segment name?
Let's go.
We have UFC at home.
There you go.
All right, man. We might have to lock that one in, bro. You heard it here first now, man. We gonna get up out of here. We love you guys. This was episode 16. God damn, bro. We almost had 20. That's crazy. 17 to be next week. I'll see y'all later, man. That's Mallory Woods. That's MMA Pickers. I'm King Apollo.